What's up, everybody? This is Whiskey in the Six. I'm Rob. This is the moment I wait for every year. This is my Whiskey of the Year review. And I have a dram ready to go. I'm not gonna pull the veil like I did last year. I'm just gonna lift them and show you one at a time. We have a long list this year. There was a lot of A+s. I tried a lot of awesome whiskey, both through the connections I've built in the whiskey fabric, some of my really cool friends that I've made on YouTube. I've been very blessed in the whiskey world for sure. And because of that, I've had an opportunity to try some things that I normally would never get to try. Very grateful. Honorable mentions is a long list. Okay, so I wrote them all down because I did not want to forget them. Let's get it started. So in the honorable mentions list, these are ones that I was really struggling with to put on the list. I couldn't justify for one reason or another to put them in the top 6, but that's just because mainly it came down to really good whiskey that they were competing with this year. So no particular order, but the last one was very close to cracking the top 6. So anyway, let's get started. Benriach 1998 PX finish. That one was around 47%. It was an excellent whiskey. Stag Junior. If you've had an opportunity to try the Stag Junior, I'm sure you agree that it is an awesome bourbon and definitely worth purchasing, so keep your eye out for that one. It's usually released in limited quantities. Macallan, Manzanilla, and Vino Barrique Solis. Okay, they didn't crack my top 6, but awesome whiskeys. I was really enjoying them. Black Art 4.1. Bruichladdich is coming out with a lot of really cool things. I think I like the 4.1 better than the 5.1, but I haven't had an opportunity to review the 5.1 just yet. Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Select. This is an everyday whiskey that you can buy for a very reasonable price. I thought it was ridiculously well-rounded for the price that you pay, and for that reason it had to be in my honorable mentions because I really enjoyed it. Canadian Club 40-year-old. Alright, so this one is 100% corn whiskey, and it is aged for 40 years. Brought down to about 45%. Really good stuff. Definitely had to be mentioned in my honorable mentions. It was a really cool whiskey that was released this year, and I really enjoyed it. Another one of my honorable mentions, I recently tried actually. It was the Kentucky Owl. Okay, that one got an A+. It was a really good whiskey. I will try to seek out another bottle if I can, but if I can't, I can't. I don't think I would pay the secondary astronomical prices that these things will probably go for shortly, but it's a really good whiskey. Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. It's excellent stuff. I really enjoy it. Definitely in my honorable mentions. It's one of the best bourbons, if not the best bourbon I've tried. It didn't crack my top 6 by a hair. The last one that didn't crack my top 6 by a hair, and I literally jostled it with this one a couple times. I just couldn't figure out which one I would take off the list to put this one on. It was the Lot 40 Cask Strength, the 12-year-old. Love this stuff. Limited release, less than 5,000 bottles. It's stunning. You guys would love it. Try to pick it up if you can. Alright, get a pen ready because the top 6 is coming. Number 6 is this empty bottle of Octomore 6.3. One of the best peated whiskeys I've ever had, if not the best. Actually, it's the best. It's excellent stuff. Only 5 years old. Just goes to show you what modern day technology will allow for with barrel play and using different types of barrels for your whiskey. There's a different kind of wine barrel used in the 6.3 that is not common in Scotch making, and I think that's what puts this in a league of its own. Really good stuff. Next up, number 5 is the Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Proof. This one is a stunner. I absolutely loved it. I know that a lot of Americans don't like the fact that Tennessee whiskey is filtered through maple wood charcoal. I don't think that should be held against it in any way, shape, or form. It makes it taste incredible. I love Jack Daniels, especially when it's a heavy ABV like the Jack Daniels single barrel proof. Pick it up if you can. Number 4, Macallan edition number 1 and Macallan edition number 2. And for argument's sake, I would probably throw Macallan edition number 3 in this as well. I do think I like these two better than the 3, but the 3 is almost on par with them. Just amazing stuff. I'm struggling not finishing this bottle so I can wait for my Macallan edition number 3 to come. It's taking a while to make its way to Ontario, but I do want to do a review where I get to compare the 1, the 2, and the 3 side by side and truly pick out my favorite. It's really hard. The 2 and the 1 are incredible. Very difficult to figure out which one you like better when side by side. Number 3. This one battled back and forth for spots 2 and 1 for the last month. I've been struggling with this. All right. Unfortunately, I had to come to a decision, and for the fact that it doesn't have an age statement and the fact that in this world we would really like to know how young the whiskey, if this had the number 5 on it, it would have been my whiskey of the year. If this was aged, had an age statement of 2 years old, 3 years old, whatever the minimum is, it would be my whiskey of the year. But because it's doesn't have an age statement, I couldn't justify it as my whiskey of the year. It came so close though. The Macallan Classic Cut. If I have an everyday drink, this is gonna be it. I'm gonna hoard it. I'm gonna buy as much of it as I can because I think it's awesome stuff, and I really think you guys will enjoy it as well. So it's my number 3 this year. Could have easily been my number 1 if I wasn't being finicky and picky, but I had to be a little bit picky because after all, I've tried some incredible whiskey. Number 2. Yep, a lot of people thought this would be my number 1 for the reason that it is priced astronomically high. It dropped down to 2 for me. And that's not to say that it's not worth the price. It's excellent stuff. I've obviously dipped into this quite a bit with a bunch of my friends, of course, to celebrate my daughter's birth. But the Highland Park 25-year-old is my number 2, and for good reason. It is a very sophisticated dram. It has all sorts of complexity. I really enjoy it. A lot of the new people that are recently trying Scotch that I associate with tried that one and told me it was peaty. And for a guy that's been experienced with a little bit of peat these days, I didn't notice it at all. Other people told me they found it salty or it's dynamic, and that's the reason why all of these people are getting different tastes out of it. It's really good stuff. Unfortunately in Ontario it's $900. You can still get it for cheaper elsewhere, but the price is rapidly rising around the globe. In the US, I've noticed no less than $550 for the most part. There are probably some mom and pop shops that have it for less, but not many. In Alberta, they just raised the price. On average, it's around $650. There are a few stores that still have it for around the $400 to $450 mark, but it's a very few and far between, so it'll be difficult to pick up. Last but not least, and for very good reason, in price, in age statement, in quality of whiskey, the number 1 whiskey of the year for me is the Balblair 1990 25-year-old. This one is bottled in 2015. All right, it says it right there on the bottle, 2015 bottled and distilled in and barreled in 1990. It's sherry cask. I can't say enough about how smooth this is. Anybody I let try this was absolutely blown away. Whether they were new to whiskey, whether they've been experienced with whiskey, they loved it. And for that reason, I had to buy a second bottle. Just fantastic stuff. I can't say enough about it. I picked this one up for $165 in Nova Scotia. I picked the first one up I had for the same price. Unfortunately, in Ontario, this goes the 26-year-old version of this goes for almost $300. Even at $300, you're getting a steal for a 25-year-old, in my opinion. Most 25-year-olds are $350 plus, and this is better than most, if not every single one that I've tried. It has just a beautiful smoothness. It's not overly spicy. It's almost too easy to drink, and for that reason, that's my whiskey of the year, Balblair 1990. It's fantastic stuff. This won't be my last review for the year. I'll probably post this Saturday, December 23rd, which is still probably about 3 or 4 reviews away from my last review of the year, but I've already tried what I'm reviewing, and they're not going to be in my whiskey of the year, so there's no sense in waiting. I'll post this on the 23rd. I'm really excited about posting this. I'm really excited to hear what you guys have to say in the comments below. Tell me if you agree. Tell me if you don't. I have a few Macallans in here. I'm sure I'm going to hear some noise about that. But honestly, if you guys have had the opportunity to try them, then I'm all ears. Otherwise, until you try them, you won't understand why I picked them, okay? But this Balblair 1990, they're becoming harder and harder to come by. Really, really good stuff, okay? So check that out if you have the opportunity. I want to thank you guys. The reason why I'm posting this video on the 23rd is that's pretty much roughly when I posted my first video 2 years ago. So this will be my 2-year anniversary or birthday for Whiskey in the Six. And the growth, a year ago today, I was at around 600 subscribers. Right now I'm at 2,250, maybe a little bit more by the 23rd. And I owe it all to you guys. You guys have been awesome from day one. The Whiskey Fabric, the other reviewers, the subscribers, the people that comment constantly on my videos, the people that help out in any way they can. Honestly, if it wasn't for you guys, this channel wouldn't exist, and it would definitely not be where it is today. And hopefully in the new year, it just gets better. So I want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. Happy holidays and all the best. Cheers.